The Guiding Light, presented by today's Ivory Liquid, with its Young Hands formula that helps hands look young again.
Mr. Westcott in 210 will not be leaving today after all. His surgery has developed some complications, and I've reported it to Dr. Parks.
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, Dr. Bauer.
Yes, Dr. Werner?
We have 6 new admissions for surgery this morning. I'd like you to do their workups right away.
On all 6?
That's what I said.
But, Dr. Werner, I haven't finished the workups you gave me last.
Well, that means you're way behind schedule then, doesn't it?
No, it means that I just finished scrubbing on 2 operations and just made my rounds.
Well, the 2 workups you mentioned I assigned to you last night. Since they're not completed, I see you didn't lose any sleep over them.
No, sir. I lost sleep on Mr. Rainey's peptic ulcer. He was hemorrhaging last night.
I see. Well, that leaves you 2 workups to complete and 6 new ones to get started on then, doesn't it?
Well, may I ask why I'm being honored with all the dirty work? You have 2 other interns on the service besides me.
I know how many interns I have.
Well, I'm glad of that. I thought perhaps you couldn't count above 1.
I can count on you, Dr. Bauer, because I'm the senior resident. It's your job to accept any assignments I give you. And without question, I might add.
I'm sorry, Dr. Werner, but I am human enough to question it.
What's the matter? Does the paperwork annoy you? Don't you know it's very vital to surgery to do a good workup on a patient's case history? Just as important as the knife.
Oh, yes, I do know that, Doctor. I just thought, why not give the chance to all of us interns for the excitement of the vital paperwork? I mean, why deprive all the others? Oh, hello, Dr. Jackson.
Hello, Dr. Bauer. Dr. Werner.
Dr. Jackson?
I've been invited to Clover Hospital to witness some new surgery involving an artificial heart valve. I wondered if you would like to come along with me to also see it?
Well, yes, sir. I'd like that very much. Thank you.
Well, I was including Dr. Bauer in my invitation also. Would you like to come along, too?
Oh, yes, sir. I'd certainly be fascinated. I'd love to see
I'm
that.
afraid the hospital can't spare Dr. Bauer this morning. He's a little behind in his work.
What work? Why can't you spare him?
Well, we have 6 new admissions for him to do workups on this
Well, you
morning.
have 2 other interns. Let them do the admissions.
Sir, I assigned the work to Dr. Bauer.
So you assign it immediately to somebody else? Well, meet me in my office. 10:30. We'll leave from there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Dr. Jackson. Thank you very much.
Now, that's the patient in 211? All right, Mrs. Hammer, the floor nurse, will be back immediately, and I'll give her the message. All right, Doctor.
I beg your pardon, miss. Do you know Dr. Edward Bauer?
Oh, yes, indeed I do.
Well, I realize that he's very busy most of the time, but would it be possible for me to see him?
Oh, I'm afraid you came at exactly the wrong moment.
Oh.
He just left with Dr. Jackson to go over to Clover Hospital.
Oh, with Dr. Jackson. Oh, I've heard my son talk about Dr. Jackson so often. He tells me that he's a wonderful surgeon.
Are you Dr. Bauer's mother?
All right, I'm back. Thanks for holding the fort for me, Miss Jackson. Any messages?
Just one. Dr. Barnes called, and I wrote the message down for you.
Thank you.
Well, are you by any chance Leslie Jackson?
Yes, I certainly am. I'm so glad to meet you, Mrs. Bauer.
Well, isn't this nice? I've been wanting to meet you very much. I've heard Ed talk about you so much.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I hope he said some nice things about me.
Oh, you can be sure he did. Well, can we talk for a minute, or am I interrupting your work?
Well, the work I do is pretty easy to interrupt. It's not very important work.
I think you're probably being much too modest. My sister-in-law, Mrs. Banning, you know, was a nurse's aide, too, and she tells me that you people do a lot of the hospital's work in your quiet way.
Well, I'm sure Mrs. Banning did, but I'm afraid I'm something of a loafer. Oh, she is so nice. I'm so sorry to hear that she and Dr. Banning are moving to New York.
Well, we're all very sorry to see them go, but he's been offered a wonderful position there, you know.
So she told me. Oh, I met Ed's grandfather here the other day. He's such a charming gentleman.
Well, there's no one quite like Papa Bauer.
Oh, and I met your husband here once, too, and Well, I guess I just like all the Bowers. You're a weakness of mine.
Oh, what a nice thing to say. Well, I'm going to have to see to it that Ed brings you home real soon so that we can really get acquainted.
I'd like that very much.
And I do hope to meet your mother and father sometime, too.
Oh, I'm sure you'll meet my father. He's pretty fond of your son, but... Well, my mother's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Well, she died when I was born.
So you never knew her?
Only indirectly, I'm afraid. Through my father's eyes. His memories.
Oh, that's... Well, I am sorry. Oh, good heavens, look at the time. I really shouldn't keep you from your work any longer.
Well, aren't you going to wait for your son?
Oh, I'd better not. I have so much to do at home, and heaven knows when he'll get back. But you have to come and visit us. I'm going to see to it that Ed brings you out real soon.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Can I give a message to him for you, or should I tell him to call you?
No, but if you would tell him that I'd like to see him as soon as possible if he could get home for an hour or so.
Tonight?
Well, no. No, if he could come during the day, preferably. Urge him to come during the day, will you? Goodbye, dear. It was lovely meeting you.
It was nice meeting you.
And I'll see you soon.
Goodbye.